Today, welcome to CNMI Weekly. We are now joined with Ryan Joseph, a son of the Marianas, with some really exciting news. Ryan, as you shared on Facebook, you were accepted into the AGB studios in Hollywood. So lots to get to, but first, why don't we just take a moment to meet you and get to know you a little bit, share your ties to the Marianas and what you've been up to.
Okay, my name is Ryan Joseph. I'm over the age of 18. I'll just say that. But I was born and raised in Saipan, and I had just recently moved to California January this year. And weeks went by. I'm working right now, three jobs, while still doing my acting training. And yeah, so right now I'm in Bakersfield, California. I travel every Sunday to LA, doing all my trainings and stuff.
Right. So for those of us not in the Hollywood world, can you tell us a little bit about what AGB Studios is, what this experience is going to look like for you, and ultimately you want to become an actor, right?
Yes. So AGB Studios, AGB stands for Actors Giving Back. And it's a program where David DeLuise has founded and started to help other actors that are trying to get into the industry, to help them go from training, how to book, how to self-tape, how to make your auditions, certain critiques and trainings that will help you in your acting career. He did all of this just so that they could be guided in the right directions, because when he had started, he had no idea where to start, how to begin, or how to even step his foot into the world. And so he wanted to make sure that other actors had some kind of guidance to help get into the industry.
And so what does this mean for you now? You said you're traveling every now and then. I mean, are you undergoing training right now, or are we expected to see you on any shows, or what does the road look like ahead?
Okay, so right now I'm currently in training. It's about 18 weeks total. I'm already on my fourth week right now. So every Sunday I travel to LA, to the studio, do my trainings from 9 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And after the training and everything is done, I get to shoot a scene or a small clip with one of my celebrity coaches, which will be used in our showcase night. Where all casting directors, producers, agents, they'll all be there from different platforms like Netflix, Disney. They'll be there to scout for their next project and uprising actors or actress.
And so tell us, how has it been? I mean, I saw you posted a photo with some big name celebrities already. I mean, tell us about who you've been able to meet and just what the experience has been like so far.
Oh gosh, I met Annalise Vanderpool, which was really surprising because every when she had walked into the room on our first day of training, everyone was so calm around, like my other castmates and everything. And I was trying to hold it in deep inside, like not to fan out or like, break out, freaking out. So I really tried and sat on it. But she was so amazing. She was so kind. I met Blake Michael. He was great too. He was so friendly and entertaining, and he really related to how wanting to make a difference in other people's lives. And John Lear, who's also doing some projects right now. Uh, he was scouting on the day of our training, and he was looking at all of us saying, "Oh, I can see you doing this kind of project, doing these kind of ideas." So it was pretty cool to get like critiques and an insight on how they started and what tips and what techniques helped them get to where they are. So that was a pretty cool thing, and it's on go as we go on to with the training. I get to meet different celebrities. I have quite a few that I'm looking forward to meet, like Jennifer Stone, Ashley Argota. I've watched these guys since I was a kid, and to be able to like stand in front of them is it's kind of crazy. It's still sinking in.
I did want to ask about your start. So when did you get into acting? Was this something you kind of explored even here on Saipan? Tell us about how you got started and why you want to be an actor.
Oh, I always dreamed about being on a show when I was young. Um, but it seemed kind of unrealistic when I was in Saipan at the time because I didn't really know how to step into that world. Like, there was no directors or agents casting from Saipan. But when I had moved out here, it just so happened that I saw this ad and I said, well, I've only done a couple actings, like probably elementary wise, and a little bit as as like I grew older. But as soon as I reached high school and junior high, I've never really gave it much consideration. But so when that ad came out, I said, why not? Let's just try it out. You might not make it past the first interview, or you might pass the first interview. So I signed up, and when I had done the first interview, I was like, okay, it's fine if you don't get it because you didn't tell anyone at that time. And if you didn't get it, it would be okay because no one would know. But then when they called me back and they said you got into the second interview, then I started like getting nervous because I was like, gosh, I made it past the first interview. How do I do this? Like, and it's crazy because they don't give you a script before that interview. And my second interview was to do like a commercial code screen reading. So I didn't have to memorize my script, but I had to be able to like read it, analyze it for like a minute, and then deliver my monologue after for my audition. And thankfully, it was good enough to get me to the third interview, which allowed me to get into the studio on that day.
All right. Well, I wanted to ask you what is your message to someone, maybe youth here on Saipan who were just like you a few years ago, maybe didn't think it would be possible to enter a program like that. And like you said, there maybe aren't that many connections here as much as you would if you were in California. So, yeah, what would you tell someone like you watching this now on Saipan, wanting to be an actor or just in general in the film industry, right?
Uh, well, I always tell people if you have a dream for something, you got to take your values. And when I say values, I meant like not your wealth status or like your riches and everything. These are like your passion, your talent, your skills, dedication, motivation. You take all of that and put that into your values, and you take those values and put it into your dreams. You're gonna see that dreams go far and dreams come true. So as long as you have faith and you stay in that direction of where you want to be in life, you'll get there. And what's cool about this AJB Studios too is I'm pretty sure they're opening it up worldwide. So you don't even have to be in California to be a part of the studio. You can train over Zoom and then fly out to LA to do your shooting with your celebrity coaches. And showcase night, I believe you can also attend via Zoom. So that's a great opportunity for anyone in Saipan that wants to step into this world. No one knew about it, so it's kind of cool that I'm probably not the first, maybe, from Saipan to be in the studio, but it's definitely nice to be able to be in the studio and get some experience out of it.
All right, Ryan, congratulations to you. Anything else you want to add? You want to share with folks here back home?
Well, I miss everyone back home. I miss the food and island life, but thank you for everyone that's been supporting me. I see all the messages and all the shares, so thank you from the bottom of my heart.
All right, thank you so much, and we can't wait to see you on our TV screens one day, Ryan. Appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
And
Thank you for
thank
having
you
me.
for joining us. Thank you, and we'll be right back right after this. And so, Senator Manglona, thanks again for your time. You recently wrote a letter expressing some concern with the Rota Gaming Commission and a trip they took to Korea funded by IH, I believe. So just explain what your concerns were.
Thank you for that question, Tommy. The issue that I have is really just the trip in itself to go do an investigation with IH Group in Korea. IH Group paid Rota Commission, the Gaming Commission, $150,000, and pending the delegation's appropriation, that was supposed to be their operational funds. But the problem is that the commission took a trip to Korea paid for by IH, and I'm a little bit concerned about that because the stipulation behind it, the biases that may be perceived as a result of that paid for trip trip by IH. So I'm a little bit concerned about that, Tommy, and I just want to make sure that I stress this concern so that we can fix these issues and make sure we don't run into another casino problems in the future where we're going to have to back off from any investor just because of any legal issues or any legal matter that may even hamper the operations or the operational movement of the casino. So yeah, I'm just a little bit concerned about that. The delegation, I know that the delegation as a group has come together and has stressed that concern, and I was just willing to be the individual to actually push out that concern and make sure that we address it.
And IH, last we saw, as it's been reported already, they got a Rota casino license. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm not against the IH getting a casino license. As a matter of fact, Rota is in dire need for any economic stimulation or any economic activity. So I'm happy for that. I think the delegation is just kind of more focusing on just making sure that we don't make any we don't fall through any cracks, just kind of pushing this movement forward so fast that we misstep or we don't address issues up front, and we're not as transparent to our people as we should be. So as a representative of the people, my biggest concern is to make sure that I actually address their concerns. So when constituents come to me and ask me about some of these activities, I want to make sure that I'm able to answer that through an open dialogue with the Gaming Commission. So I'm not against the license, the issuance of the license. I'm actually happy that that IH has decided to invest in Rota, but I just want to make sure that we do it right.
And is the casino the answer? It seems we keep trying, right? This is not our first time.
I don't think casinos is the only answer, but at this point, with the economic downfall in the CNMI, any economic activity is activity nonetheless that will help and benefit our people. So I don't want to sit here and just nitpick on what industry should we bring to Rota. As a matter of fact, we should be open just because the economy is really Rota is really hurting. So any kind of economic activity, whether it be casino, whether it be investment through tourism, I'm all for it. I'm sure my delegation colleagues feel the same way. But again, I just want to stress the fact that we have to make sure that we do it right.
And so, are you aware of the delegation moving forward? I mean, it's pretty much in the Rota Casino Commission's hands now, right? Moving forward. And
yeah.
Are there any other pending issues with the commission that you still want to address?
So the delegation right now, the appropriation of that 150,000, the delegation was supposed to pass that on our last delegation session, but we were pending some documents from the commission that the chairman has requested from the commission itself. So as soon as we get all those information that the delegation requested for, I'm sure we're going to have a delegation session thereafter and pass that appropriation or push it through. So there's really there's no delay. Just the ball is on the commission's court. We're just waiting on them to kind of give us those information.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know another issue that came up in the meeting on Rota was their compensation as commissioners.
Yes.
Where do you stand on that?
So initially I spoke to the commissioner about this, and I stand on reducing their compensation down to just when they meet, because I don't believe that we should be paying anybody if there's no activity. However, if the gaming industry takes off in Rota, then I don't see why not moving them back to their salary base so that they can stay on board and regulate them, and make sure that they're not just make sure that they're compensated fairly. So the only thing that the delegation pushed for is for us to reduce their salary down to just compensation when they meet, because at the time there's no casino, there's no real casino that's going on in Rota, and the problem is that we're just compensating the commission and there's no activity. So now that there's some kind of an activity, I believe the delegation, we need to sit down and discuss this and try and bring back their compensation, whether it be in terms of the amount, that's up for debate amongst the delegation.
All right. Any other message to the community?
Thank you, Tommy, for having the time to make sure that we clear some of these information. Honestly, it's just really about making sure that we're transparent and making sure that we address concerns of our constituents. So at the end of the day, for me, I'm the voice of the people that put me in office, and I'm going to make sure that I continue to address their concerns. And I want to make sure that any kind of investment, economic activity in Rota, I want to make sure that we do it right, so that we don't start backpedaling, or we lose an investor, or we lose an investment, and thereafter our people hurt or struggle. So thank you for having the time, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. With Election Day nearly a month away, it's all hands on deck at the Commonwealth Election Commission. CEC Executive Director Kayla Igatol briefed commissioners on preparation.
Our team has been diligently working to ensure everything is in place for a smooth electoral process. As of September 20, 2024, we have received a total of 21,049 ballots for the upcoming election. Our focus has also been on early voting on Northern Island, absentee voting, and overall preparation for the election day. Registration closed on September 6, 2024 with 18,401 registered voters in total.
They're also starting to train poll workers on Saipan, Tinian, and Rota. She also shared that as of Monday, they've provided 642 absentee ballots to off-island voters, as polling places are also announced.
All the proposed polling sites that we have approved by PSS for Election Day.
Early voting for the Northern Islands is ongoing. Early voting for Rota, Tinian, and Saipan starts October 29 and will be open daily from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. On Election Day, polling places will be open at 7 a.m. and close at 7 p.m. Voters must present a photo ID to vote. Meanwhile, former CEC Chair Jesus Sablan resigned effective Monday, leaving 3 out of 5 Saipan seats on the CEC board open. Should there be a limit in terms of how long someone can vote absentee? That's a topic that has been brought up in Senate confirmation hearings for nominees for the Commonwealth Election Commission. Kurt John Maritita is a CEC nominee from Rota who echoed some of that sentiment in his hearing.
Why leave the island and look for better life when there is life here? Same as I here. So if you leave the island and want to claim for like an absentee, and then here you are saying you got zero. I mean, you have no interest in the land and the island. Why vote for the island?
One senator responded to the comment, explaining the potential need to maintain the status quo no matter how long someone is away from home. The 2022 general election saw 1,531 absentee votes for the gubernatorial race.
We also have professionals. We encourage our students to go out and get the education and the experience they can out there, and then come back and give back. But sometimes the opportunities are not there. So is it at the fault of the government or the community, or is it, and so I don't want to penalize that person who does intend to come back at one point if ever an opportunity becomes available, and provided that they would like to participate in the process that will affect or may affect their livelihood in the future and planning for the future in coming back to reside back here.
CNMI law currently has no cap on the number of years someone can vote absentee while away from home. A registered voter can vote by absentee ballot for reasons including needing to travel, going to school, employment, and receiving health care.
Wouldn't it just be right if you left the island to join the military, go to college, better education? I mean, that's kind of sound fair for me, but when you leave the island to look for better life and have nothing to want to do with the island, I don't know, what does that look like?
Thomas Manglona, KUAM News, Saipan. A vet and vet tech are on Saipan until October 4 to provide critically needed pet health care. Dr. Melissa Salgado, who's from New York, and Amber Schweiss from Texas are in the NMI for the first time thanks to Banfield's Mars Ambassador program, which sends experts like them to destinations around the world to give back to the community.
Everyone has been so kind. We got the greatest reception coming in. We've just had so many really nice interactions with the clients, which is in veterinary medicine can be a little more on the rare side.
They've seen about 40 pets a day so far. That's double what they usually see in the States. They're working with the Saipan Humane Society, Director of Clinical Services, Ruby Ma.
We definitely provide more accurate diagnosis and give more secure and information to our pet owner, and not beside the pet owner, our team. We learn a lot of different diagnoses and learn how to do bandaging, ultrasound, even medication dosing is a really great help for us to enhance our skill.
Dr. Salgado said they are treating a lot of wounds and skin allergies, but both of them with more than 30 years of experience combined treated their first case of
transmissible venereal tumors. It's essentially an STD that animals get. That's why it's sort of important to neuter and spay your pets, because then they're less likely to want to mate as well, and then to prevent from happening. So it causes tumors and it needs to be treated with chemotherapy.
Saipan Humane Society continues to fill the gaps with its limited resources on Saipan.
The team here is so great, and they jump in and work their tails off to help everyone.
Breast cancer continues to be the leading cancer diagnosis among adults in the Northern Marianas.
Between 2007 and 2021, 81% of cancer diagnosis was diagnosed at stage 3 or higher. This alarming statistic points to a significant delay in early detection and highlights critical issues we must address.
The Commonwealth Cancer Association bringing the government and community together to raise awareness as October is declared Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Wendy Lynn Escota, a breast cancer survivor who was diagnosed 4 years ago, shared her inspiring journey as a working mom.
And here I am today. I finished my bachelor's degree after getting my surgery. I saw my son graduate high school, join the National Guard, and I got promoted as a general manager at Mariana's Eye Institute. Lastly,
nurse practitioner Summer Ackley shared her perspective working at the hospital's oncology center.
In my experience at the clinic, I have often found that fear is one of the barriers to diagnosing breast cancer. Some women are fearful of mammogram screening because they worry about pain, possible discomfort, embarrassment, or having confirmation that the thing they are most afraid of is indeed breast cancer. And while we can help all women who develop breast cancer, it is so important to find it early so we can help even more and provide a cure for treatment.
CNMI Governor Arnold Palacios echoed that message.
We need to convince our people not to be afraid and not to have any reservations with getting tested and going through that process.
Thomas Manglona, KUAM News, Saipan.